Yes, guys, this is the video that you have been waiting for. Arsenal, Chelsea, 100% the biggest clubs in London. But who truly is the biggest club in London? In this podcast, we're going to be breaking it all down from the trophies, the manager, the banter, and also, don't forget, the bottle jobs. So, if you're a Chelsea fan, or an Arsenal scum, get in the comments now. Defend your stinking club or just admit defeat. And joining me today is London's very own Pum Pum boy himself. Born and raised in the streets of London. Mind you, the deader side of London. He's moved to Chelsea, but he supports Arsenal. Talk about the definition of a traitor. You lot can explain to me how that works. He's brown. He's sexy. He wishes he was Portuguese. The smelly curry meister himself. King Kong Curry. What are you saying, Curry boy? You love it. You love it. You absolutely love it. I know you freaking love it, and you're welcome. How are you?
I'm okay, Mark. I think it's a stupid topic personally, and here's why. And here's the bit you missed off. We're discussing who the biggest club is out of Arsenal and Chelsea, but over the last 20 years. How convenient that we're only talking about the last 20 years. The fact that it not only coincides with the only successful period in your club's whole history and most successful period of any Premier League club in the last 20 years, spade a spade.
Manchester City. Yeah, okay.
Arguable, but also it's the exact same time that Arsenal had their biggest drop-off in their history. So my question to you is, which Chelsea supporting chump sent that topic in for us to discuss?
I think his name was Mark, or aka Mingy. He's a great guy. Everyone loves him. A bit of Minge. Don't you love a bit of Minge?
No, but seriously, why are we talking about the last 20 years? What twat thought that would be a good idea?
Frenemies podcast, dude. It's the Frenemies podcast. It's Chelsea versus Arsenal. Not Arsenal versus Chelsea. Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Yeah, but 20 years. Okay, I'll tell you what, Mark. I'll tell you what. Let me throw it out there then, yeah? Because this is the most ridiculous metrics ever created in any debate across any podcast ever. Ooh, why don't we discuss a specific period? I'll tell you what specific period we should discuss, Mark. Why don't we discuss that specific period between 2002 and 2004? And we'll just compare Arsenal's season to the rest of the Premier League. Who won the most in that time, Mark? No, we're not. 20 years.
Yeah,
You're conveniently missing.
I am.
20. Listen, maths has taken a hit today as well. I'm sorry, everyone out there. Mark's maths is not what it used to be. 20 years. We're discussing 2005 till 2025. Which club out of Arsenal and Chelsea have been the biggest club in that time period?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna
he's got a
change the
massive
title.
smile on his face. I'll kick it over to you, Mark, because, you know, you're buzzing about this and I'm less so, but kick it off.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm a fair man. I'm going to include from 2000. I'm going to change the title, right? So now no complaints. Let's just quickly go through, right, the trophies and the silverware. Chelsea, since the year 2000, 2 Champions Leagues, 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, 3 Europa League Cups, 2 Super Cups, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, and about to be, over the next week, the new Europa League Conference champions, which will basically mean, right, that Chelsea will be the only team in the world that will have every single domestic cup. Do you know what that means, Neely? We are officially, if we win that, going to be the best club in history. It's not even just Chelsea versus Arsenal, it's Chelsea against the world. Bro, this is the facts. I only spit facts, yeah? I'm going to rename this title to Chelsea the best team ever. And can anyone say anything about it? If you have a problem with it, let us know in the comments down below. My name's Mark, tag me in. I'll chat to your dumbass, yeah? Now, let's go through Arsenal. I've got a long list here for you guys, for you Arsenal scum. Since the year 2000, Arsenal, 5 FA Cups, 1 Premier League Cup, and that's it. Now, I'm not going to be mean to you. I'm going to give you something that no Premier League team, okay, has done, which is something that all Arsenal fans pride themselves on. You have the one and only gold Invincibles Cup. You're the only team since the year 2000 that has gone through the league without losing. Not only did you not lose, you won. Known as the Invincible season. That's the only thing, which I think in this topic of this video that an Arsenal supporter can brag about. And because you're the only team that's done it in the Premier League since the year 2000, I think it's a valid point. And Neil, you're welcome for that. I'm a fair man. What do you think about what I have to say?
Well, firstly, you're wrong because it's 2 Premier Leagues and 6 FA Cups. Not 5, 6. And in fact, this is off the top of my head, it could be 7 because you've added 5 extra years. So I'm not sure. But look, the second thing where you're wrong at is the UEFA Conference Club Budget Cup, whatever one that you're in against with Real Betis. Doing a clean sweep, this is proof that sometimes the clean sweep isn't the best road to go down. I'm sure Real Madrid are quaking in their boots thinking, we want to win the 4th most important cup in Europe. How do we do that?
That's their problem.
Let me commend you on that roll call because Chelsea's history outside of the Roman era, non-existent. But during the Roman era, you won everything and you won it multiple times. And, you know, people can sit here and say, and I know a lot of Arsenal fans and fans in general, like, yeah, Chelsea bought those titles, this and that, whatever. I tell you what, I'm one of those few people that give Roman credit. The Roman Empire.
Sick guy.
He come in and look, it coincides with us moving to a new stadium. It meant that we couldn't compete financially. It wasn't the ideal timing for us. In fact, probably the worst timing for us, but no excuses, right? You still had to go out there and win it. Roman came in and did what no one else has done. He has changed a generation like Kim Kardashian has changed people's faces forever. Roman came in and has done something that people are trying to replicate still. Overnight success. Overnight instant success, Mark. He did it better than anyone. He did it better than absolutely anyone that's had money. Newcastle, please. Man City, he has done it better than the sheikhs at Man City. He came in, instant success, got Jose in, won back-to-back Premier League titles, something I'm very jealous about because we should have three-peated. We should have won it in 02, 03 and 04, but we slipped up in 03 with a 10-point lead. Lesser of that, the better. But we've never repeated, right? You'd win back-to-back league titles and you have not stopped winning since. And the Roman blueprint is something that everyone tries to copy, just like Kim Kardashian's face, but the original always did it the best. Credit to you.
The thing is with Roman is I think the main thing with Roman is not that he just plug his own cash into the club. He genuinely loved the club. Right. So when he had this thing with the UK government and they tried to like get rid of they forced him to sell the club. He really did not want to sell the club. And it's not because, you know, he needed the money or anything like that. He genuinely loved Chelsea and he genuinely wanted the best for them. He was ultra aggressive with his managerial appointments. Yeah, because as you know, if you look back at the periods, even if you won the league, I think it was Carlo, he won the league, got sacked. That is freaking crazy. That's why Roman, as you have said, it was the Roman Empire. And he's got to be the best owner I've ever seen at any club. To plug your own money, to be that involved and that aggressive, to make sure that they are the best team that they can be. Chelsea fans are very lucky. Yeah.
The Premier League's lucky, actually, to be honest with you, because he changed the face of the game. He changed the face of the Premier League. He's actually so important for the Premier League, and he was actually good for the economy, mate. I mean, look, they you know, you can call this like a weird take or whatever, but they painted him up to be this Russian oligarch. We got to get rid of him, money laundering, whatever. He'd been there for 20 plus years. Or what, now suddenly you want to make a change? Right, okay, but what about our borders? Keep them open and bring in all the, no one, we'll pay for them, yeah? I'll tell you what, man, he was good for the Premier League, he's good for business in general, and he changed the face of the Premier League. So he may have been, forced out, but he left his mark. And actually, the money that we see in the Premier League now, and the money that all these clubs have available, does any of that happen with the TV rights and everything, all those deals that happen? Does any of that happen without Roman? I'm not sure it does, you know. I think he made a massive impact. He put Chelsea on the map. He made the Premier League a better place. And it, does burn me to say it. You know, I think Roman was good for the Premier League.
It's nice to hear, man. And also, like when you're saying all that stuff, which is all true, it just makes me sad that it's over. And of course, you can thank the UK government for that. But in terms of going back to, you know what, the Roman Empire. After that, you guys are nothing. I mean, let's think about it. The new consortium, the new takeover, only happened 3 years ago. The club, no doubt, okay, have invested 1.5 or just over 1.5 billion pounds into new players to improving the club, including improving the stadium, XYZ, right? Yes, since they've taken over, a lot of the pundits, a lot of the players, a lot of the fans, they don't agree and they don't approve of the transfer strategy. You're spending big money at Chelsea, right? But you've found probably what, two diamonds in the dirt in Caicedo and Cole Palmer. But the rest of them have been bang average, and of clearly that they've just done that to, you know, purchase the new kids on the block. Hopefully they realize just even like a little bit of potential, sell them on for even like a 10% profit fee, which, okay, it can add up, right? When you do that with multiple players. So I guess it's okay, but you know, no fan likes that. Purchase if you really want to be successful in a Premier League club, you need to invest money, but you need to invest in a hybrid of experienced players as well as young players. So you get the best of both worlds, so you can compete now whilst also, you know, building up the potential of these new players. And then you can probably potentially sell them at a later date, but you also got to give them a chance. You need to purchase experienced players to compete currently. If they purchase a number 9 in the sense of like a Gyökeres or a Victor Osimhen, for me, that would make up for a lot of the bad transfer decisions. Because that will mean that Chelsea next season should be able to more than compete for top 4 or top 5 CL qualifications. They should be able to compete for the title, right? What do you think?
Yeah, and I know you're 3 years into this project under Bowley, but I think there's some urgency here, right? We talk about Arsenal's urgency. We need to win a trophy and all this kind of good stuff, right? When Arteta came in 5 years ago, 6 years ago, he came into a club, like I said, that was looking down. Your 3-year project started, and where it started, you know, okay, fine, we're moving away from the Roman era, but Chelsea were better placed than Arsenal, way better placed than Arsenal. We've overtaken you the last couple of seasons, right? Because we were behind you. We were 8th when Arteta took over. You were winning Champions Leagues or getting to the finals. You were in top 4 under Tuchel, 3rd, whatever. So actually, I think it is a necessity to buy some recognised talent now for you, purely for the fact that, okay, 3 years in, fine, whatever, but you're actually gone backwards a bit, and now it's kind of a case of back to where you rightfully belong. Top 4. Forget none of this top 5 nonsense. You've got to be in the top 4, and it's got to be comfortable for Chelsea, because what we've seen over the last 4 years is that Arsenal have actually overtaken Chelsea. Now, we've won nothing, and neither of you yet, but we're ahead of you. We're in a better position than you. So I agree with everything you said. I think get some recognised names there, get back in there and get back to the top. But just to go back to the original question of this debate, right? We're talking about Arsenal, Chelsea, biggest club of the last 25 years. I want to speak slightly, it's going slightly off topic, but not really. Who truly defined the Premier League era between the two? Because I've got some interesting views on this, and I don't know what your take would be on it, but you've got the Invincibles in 2004 that happened. And then you had the Jose Revolution come in literally the next season. Now, you've got two teams there, and one thing happened at that point. Arsenal fell away. Chelsea went in the opposite direction, upward trajectory. Who got it right? Who got it wrong? Can we put it down to just Roman's money, or did Wenger make a big mistake?
Long story short, I do believe it was the Roman money. Now, if you have a look at Chelsea just before he actually purchased that club, okay, they were already in the Champions League. They're already finishing second, third, etc. So they are already in the mix. Roman come in, right, and was that final icing on the cake, right? Because he hired, I think the number one thing that he did, he hired Jose Mourinho. Right. Forget about the investment in the players and stuff like that. He did that. Of course he did. He backed his new manager, Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho was the key for me that completely changed this trajectory that you're talking about. Right. Because he completely turned them from we're trying to win the league. where when he's come in, it's guys, we're going to win the league. If you watch some, like, there's a Chelsea on Prime, there's a Chelsea documentary. You listen to the players there, and they're saying everything changed when Jose Mourinho come in, because what he actually did was, at the beginning of the season, he was like, he would predict the next 5 games. And it's not even predict. He would force predict, which he would say, right, next week we've got Crystal Palace, we're winning that. Next week after that, we've got Manchester United, we're winning that. The next week, and you can tell, like, when you listen to the players, they were like, oh my God. He's just like, it's like assuming, but like assuming that the future and predicting the future, because that's actually what happened. He completely changed their attitude from maybe potential winners, or we could do it, to we're going to do it. We're going to win the league. We're going to win this game and this game and this game and this game. And this is going to be the team, which he hardly deferred from. He always had like this, the first team, he hardly tampered with it. He made substitutions and stuff. Joe Cole, Duff and Robin and stuff. They interchanged later. But he was very strict on his attitude, on the mentality that he enforced on the players, on the club. He is the true Messiah. He is the one that completely elevated Chelsea into, well, winners. What do you think about that?
Here's my take, and I want your thoughts on it, right? Yes, of course, Roman's money makes an impact. Absolutely. And he comes in the season before when Arsenal win the league unbeaten, and you had Ranieri, right? And he gets rid of Ranieri and gets Jose in. Now, the reason why I asked, did Wenger go wrong, right? Okay, you've got money, granted. But should we have, and we had to go to a new stadium, but should we have fallen away as much as we did? Look at that Invincibles team. It had everything. And when I say everything,
monsters,
it had monsters. It had pace, power, precision, skill. It had the blueprint of how to win the Premier League. I think the smallest guy there was Pires, and he was 6'1". Obviously, you got Ashley Cole, but he could handle himself, right? As we both know. So,
yes.
My question, my feeling is, here's where I think Wenger went wrong. And this is why there was such a massive discrepancy between Chelsea and Arsenal for the next few seasons. He had the blueprint. And what did Wenger do versus what Jose did? Jose saw that blueprint, continued it. You were monsters. Terry, Lampard, you had pace, you had power, you had Droggers, you had that spine of Cech, Terry, Lampard, Drogba, Sen. In the Invincibles, we had Lehmann, Big Sol, Vieira, Henry. Bergkamp was a rowdy one as well, yeah? So the blueprint was there. And what did Wenger do versus what Jose did? Well, Jose saw the Invincibles blueprint. He's like, yeah, cool. You need pace and power to win in this league. Wenger, love him, stubborn, wants to win it a different way, wants to win it in an almost like a what we saw Barcelona do kind of way. We moved away from the physicality. We had the blueprint in our hand. We'd won 2 league titles in 3 seasons with these guys, and he moved away, and we bought some diminutive, skillful players. Fabregas came through. Then you had the Nielsen, Haleb, flattered to deceive. And he was like, I'm going to win the Premier League playing the way we saw Barcelona play over in Spain. You cannot do that. And you know what? The darling agrees with me on this. So you know the darling we know of Chelsea, yeah? He agrees with me on this. And he said the same thing. Pep was not stubborn. He came in the league and realised, you know what? I need some beasts in my team. I'm going to make the whole back four all centre-backs. The man knows, and he pivoted when he was wrong. Wenger, he was too stubborn. Love him, but that was his downfall. He was too stubborn. He should have seen, this ain't working. I need to go back to my original blueprint. And for 20 years, or just shy of 20 years, we never replaced the likes of Gilberto, Vieira. And that is why the chasm is so big. It's a combination mark of Wenger's stubbornness and Roman's money. And that is why we saw Arsenal and Chelsea, the biggest gap we've ever seen between Arsenal and Chelsea, 2 clubs over the last 20 years. What do you think of that?
He replaced Gilberto Silva with De Nielsen.
He did, yeah.
It's spot on the money. When right guard and Barca and all them lot came on, they started playing this flair type attacking football. He's obviously been inspired by that. And like, oh, you know what? I can do that in the Premier League. I'm only going to purchase, players which don't have any pubic hair. So, I can build this team. And that's exactly what it is. You hit it on the head. Like, he had that blueprint, ripped it up and thought, oh, I can, come up with the times, but it wasn't the right time. You could have competed a little bit longer at least. That's why Henry left, bro. Because he was like, what have you done, Wenger? You used to bum me and you stopped. Huh? You like all these little kids now. What can I do with these kids? Nelson?
That was a
pleb.
shocker.
Come on.
Absolute
Oh my
shocker.
gosh.
All right, look.
I do like, sorry to interrupt, even when he burst onto the scene, I think like 15, 16, Cesc Fabregas. I think he's a rare quality. What a player. But even he left. He left for Barca because he was like, I'm not going to win anything at this club. After that,
We don't need to know after that.
What's his face? He goes, I want to come back to Arsenal. And it was like, nah, we've got Jack Wilshere. It's all right. Don't worry about it, Cesc. So man goes to Chelsea and wins immediately. The league. He made the right decision finally once in his life.
Not our...
Love a bit of Cesc.
Not our finest hour, for sure. Look, so we digress a little bit, right? But biggest club the last 20 years, or you want to extend it to 25 years. We've got to say, I think we're both in agreement here, begrudgingly for me, and obviously not so much for you, but I think Chelsea outweigh us. I think what Wenger did do, keeping us relevant, keep us in the top four, was great. And people see now, actually, it's tough to get into the top four. And he did it on a budget. He did it on a shoestring budget, which was great. But if we're being completely honest, Arsenal and Chelsea were in two different leagues. Chelsea were competing for titles every season, and we were just trying to get into the top four. We didn't have a single challenge. So, yeah, the last 25 years, the last 20 years, you've got to give it to Chelsea. I think, obviously, a lot of people will level money at it and just go, you know what, that's a cheat code. You bought the titles. I'm sure you don't care if people say that. I'm not going to say that. I think money plays a part. But as we've seen actually over the last few seasons, Man United have spent over $1 billion. They've lost 18 league games this season. I'm going to keep saying it until it turns to 19. I'm telling you. So money isn't everything. You can have a lot of money, but that doesn't guarantee success. Roman was ruthless. He was a true emperor of his empire. And he was like, Jose, back-to-back league titles. Yeah, I'm not sure you're cutting it. See you later. Ancelotti, great season. I'll give you one more season.
Mad.
Didn't cut it. See you later. And it worked. He hired and fired and hired and fired. And actually, you look back on it now and go, wow, you don't get much longevity as a manager in Chelsea. So what? You're getting paid the big bucks. You get paid the big bucks for instant success. And he did it better than anyone else. So credit to him. Fair play to you boys. I do believe the end of everything great comes to an end anyway. And the Roman Empire is over. And now you're with the rest of us minions. And now you have to take time to build and get back to where you were. Next question and last question to you from me. Which club is going to win the next most significant, I don't want none of this Conference League crap, the next significant piece of silverware is going to which club, Mark? Arsenal or Chelsea?
Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. Because Arsenal, not even being mean, they just have that loser DNA. They're just like almost there. They're almost there. And as I said to you earlier in one of our previous podcasts, I do think that this season they regressed. Maybe you and other people are going to disagree with me, but that's just my opinion, right? I do think there's lots of context behind that, i.e. Arteta not getting it right with the transfers. It looks like Gyökeres is going to be coming to coming to Arsenal. It's going to be a different ball game if you guys get Gyökeres, right? But we have said that a couple of times with Arsenal a few seasons. Oh my God, they need a striker, and they've got the striker, and they still never did anything. With Chelsea, you can see, even those 3 years, the club is ambitious, and they could also get a striker, and that could be the missing piece for us to at least compete. You will be there next season, or you should be there, right? But I don't think you'll get it over the line. And I think next year, after next season, you'll fail. Arsenal will fail. And that's when you'll get Arteta. And that next manager, that's when you get rid of Arteta. And that's when that manager will define whether you carry on being a bottle team or will he be the one that will take over the line. But again, at this moment in time, I've blasted in the previous podcast a bunch of names to you. Julian Nagelsmann, Zinedine Zidane, Xavier Hernandez, Marco Silva. You laughed at my face and you want to stick with Arteta. You already said at the end of next season, if he doesn't win anything, especially if he purchases a striker, you're going to want to get rid of him. But then who are you going to get? Because every name that's available, you've turfed at me. Chelsea are going to be the next one. We're improving. And maybe we won't win the league next year. Maybe we still may finish behind Arsenal. But I still think we'll be the next ones to win a major trophy, i.e. the Champions League, i.e. the Premier League. Talk to me.
Mark, I'm going to get a little bit closer and I'm going to look you in the eyes, Clee. Arsenal will win the Premier League before Chelsea.
How can you say that? You haven't won anything for 20 years.
Out there, Arsenal will win the Premier League before Chelsea. And we've not won it for 21 years, but you've not won it for 9. And those numbers are cracking up. You ain't going to win it next season, in my opinion. But listen, if you lot disagree with me or Mark, or you agree with either one of us, let us know in the comments. You heard it here first. Mark is doubling down. Chelsea are going to win either a Premier League or Champions League before Arsenal. And I am saying the exact opposite. I am going Arsenal to win the next bit of major silverware between Arsenal and Chelsea. Let us know what you think in the comments. Mark, take us out, baby.
You know I love this video because it all runs my way. It all runs Chelsea's way. But he's right. What will be most interesting is to see what happens over the next 5-10 years. Because we already know it's established. Chelsea, the biggest football club at this moment in time over the past 25 years since the beginning of the decade or beginning of the century. Right. But as I said, let us know in the comments down below if you have stayed all this way to the end. We love you guys, Marriott. We definitely appreciate that. Spending the time with us. We love that. If you can do us one last favor, like the video, it will help us reach a little bit more people. Even if it doesn't, we're still going to be doing this. This is our side project. We love doing this. We love talking football. We love talking Chelsea, Arsenal. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys. If you want to see more of our content, click this video right here and we see you lot in there. Peace.